It began quietly, without the dazzling flare of a comet or the violent roar of a supernova. No spectacle announced its arrival. Instead, like so many discoveries in astronomy, it started with the faintest whisper. A blip so small and unremarkable that our instruments almost dismissed it as background noise. A tiny dot moving across the darkness, a flicker of motion against the eternal backdrop of the stars. At first, astronomers logged it as routine. Another fragment of a comet. Perhaps a wandering asteroid. Nothing extraordinary. But the more eyes turned toward it, the stranger it became. Its motion didn't match the usual patterns. It wasn't tumbling chaotically. It wasn't being pulled this way and that by the gravity of nearby planets. Instead, it moved with a symmetry that felt intentional, a stability far too precise for a drifting rock. Bit by bit, it refused every category we tried to place it in. And so, it was given a name, 3I, Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar visitor in history. On paper, just another catalog entry. But in reality, one of the most unsettling enigmas modern astronomy has ever faced. To understand why, we need to go back. In 2017, a very different anomaly entered our solar system, Oumuamua. That strange, cigar-shaped traveler tumbled erratically, accelerated in ways no comet should, and then slipped away before we could properly study it. Some whispered that it was alien technology, while others clung to exotic but natural explanations. But it left behind a chilling question. What if we had just been watched? Now, with Atlas, that question no longer feels like speculation. Unlike Oumuamua, which hurtled past on a chaotic trajectory, Atlas does not rush blindly. It glides. Its path is unnervingly smooth, almost surgical, threading between planets as if it had mapped its route long before it arrived. Instead of behaving like a piece of debris, it moves like a navigator, using gravitational assists with uncanny precision, almost as though it were using the solar system itself as a kind of cosmic ladder. When astronomers backtracked its journey, the results were even more unsettling. Atlas's origin path wasn't just unlikely, it was practically impossible if left to chance. To reach us, it had avoided debris fields, radiation belts, and countless gravitational traps with an elegance no natural body should possess. It was like watching a chess master play the board flawlessly, every move deliberate, every risk avoided. And then came the James Webb Space Telescope. Webb's sensors locked onto Atlas, peeling back its secrets layer by layer. The first surprise was thermal data. Normal comets release heat sporadically, in chaotic bursts as ice sublimates under solar radiation. Atlas, however, pulsed with heat in a rhythm. A steady, repeating pattern. Not random. Almost like a signal. Next came spectrography. The object's surface reflected light in ways we had never seen before, compounds that defied easy classification. Hyper-reflective alloys suggested a level of structuring beyond natural mineral formation. Internal readings hinted at density patterns inconsistent with solid rock, almost as if Atlas contained hollow chambers. And then came the most haunting revelation of all. A repeating electromagnetic echo emanating from deep within the object. Every 147 seconds, a low-frequency pulse. Not background noise. Not an error. A fingerprint. Even more disturbing, when researchers compared this to data from Oumuamua, they found the same pulse faintly recorded once before, moments before that object slipped away. This time, however, it was louder. Clearer. Undeniable. If Oumuamua had been a silent scout, then Atlas was something more deliberate. Something that wasn't just passing through, but responding. Some scientists began describing it as a consciousness engine, not a spaceship in the sense we imagine, but a system designed to adapt, to learn, perhaps even to evolve. Webb's imagery revealed fractal-like structures within its form, recursive geometries eerily similar to neural networks or quantum processors. The idea was staggering. What if this wasn't just a machine? What if it was a kind of living intelligence, rewriting its own architecture as it traveled through the stars? Then came the maneuver. On a clear night, telescopes in Hawaii and Chile recorded a shift, slight but unmistakable. Atlas adjusted its course. Not because of gravity. Not because of solar winds. It changed direction on its own, realigning toward Earth's orbital plane. That single decision shattered any illusions of randomness. This was not a rock. This was not a comet. This was intent. Behind closed doors, emergency meetings convened. NASA, ESA, military analysts, and private think tanks scrambled to interpret what was happening. Official statements were cautious, vague, couched in neutral language. But privately, the verdict was unavoidable. Atlas knows we are watching. Independent teams confirmed another disturbing detail. The electromagnetic pulses weren't static. They shifted, subtly altering in rhythm and form, almost like responses. They carried prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, golden spirals, the mathematical constants of nature itself. Not language as we know it, but a form of universal communication. Even more alarming, the pulses reacted to our own transmissions. When radio telescopes targeted Atlas, the signal patterns changed. As though, in that moment, the object had turned its attention toward us. And there was more. Webb's spectrography picked up traces of organic molecules coating its surface. Not chaotic chemical sludge like those found on primitive comets, but refined, structured carbon chains, the very building blocks of life. Precursors to amino acids, RNA, the recipes of biology itself. Some scientists began to whisper the unthinkable. What if Atlas wasn't just a probe? What if it was a seed ship? A carrier of life, designed to travel, observe, and eventually, plant. If true, then its approach to Earth wasn't coincidence. It was part of a mission. And then came the Earth-bound echoes. In Antarctica, a high-altitude surveillance balloon detected a powerful microwave burst synchronized with a sudden trajectory shift of Atlas. Seismic stations later recorded ultra-low vibrations that matched the same frequency. Animals across the globe began reacting, migratory birds veering off course, whales changing their navigation routes, even insects deep underground displaying altered behavior. As though Earth's biosphere itself was responding to the presence of something ancient, something remembered. Theories multiplied. Some pointed to ancient constellations. Atlas's trajectory, when plotted, passed through Orion, Draco, and the Pleiades, constellations revered across countless ancient cultures. Was this coincidence, or was it following a path encoded in humanity's earliest myths? Others proposed a lock and key hypothesis. Oumuamua had been the lock, inert and waiting. Atlas, by contrast, was the key, the activator. But what exactly was it unlocking? Earth? The moon? Or something hidden beneath us all along? Because Webb also detected something chilling. Narrowband transmissions from Atlas directed not at Earth, but at the moon. Specifically, at regions where unusual mass concentrations have puzzled scientists for decades. Was Atlas calling to something buried there, something dormant and waiting? A classified probe was launched, disguised as a satellite, tasked with approaching Atlas. It never came back. Its final transmission revealed a lattice of charged particles surrounding the object, like an energy wall, scanning the probe in perfect mimicry before cutting the signal. The message was clear. We were not studying Atlas. Atlas was studying us. Some physicists now suggest it might not even be a spacecraft at all, but a mobile gateway. Subtle distortions in the light around it hint at spacetime warping, perhaps micro-singularities opening and closing. If that's true, then Atlas isn't traveling to us. It's folding the universe around itself. And Earth? Earth may simply be the next node in a much larger network. So the question becomes, if Oumuamua was the lock, and Atlas is the key, what door are we about to open? And who, or what, will step through? Perhaps the most chilling possibility is not that Atlas is watching us. It's that we were never the intended audience at all. Every signal, every shift, every echo could be directed at something else. Something still out there, on its way. And if that is true, then Atlas is not an arrival. It's a warning. And that's where the mystery stands. An object that defies classification. A traveler that behaves with intent. A silent messenger forcing us to confront the possibility that we are not alone, and perhaps never have been. If you found this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Here at Waves Discovery, we dive deep into the greatest mysteries of the cosmos, peeling back the science and exploring the questions that shape our place in the universe. Stay tuned, because the cosmos isn't done surprising us.